Lemmings is one of the first games I can remember playing. It was released in 1991 for Amiga, which makes it older than I am. Lemmings is a strategy puzzle game. The game revolves around escorting the lemmings from their start point to the end goal. You can assign a variety of classes to the lemmings, which changes their behavior. They can dig, break through walls, climb, parachute with umbrellas, build staircases, and a variety of other actions. You have some flexibility to solve each map in your own way, however some of them require a certain set of classes to be used. You have a limited amount of uses of each class, so you have to plan your moves carefully. In order to complete the map, you have to clear the required amount of lemmings into the end goal. The challenge of the game comes from correctly anticipating the movements of the lemmings and directing them towards the goal. In some instances, you have to use blockers to turn the lemmings around, and those lemmings cannot be saved. It is a heartbreaking experience. It is interesting to consider that there are no enemies in Lemmings. It is just a game between you and your friends, safely escorting them to their goal. Any tragedies that occur along the way are your fault and your fault alone. Lemmings has a variety of interesting levels, both in visuals and in map design. The backgrounds ranging from dirt to rock, steel, and magma. And the obstacles you're required to cross ramp up in difficulty as you play through the maps. The final levels are extremely hard. You are able to pick between 4 groups of maps arranged together by difficulty. There are different streams of difficulty, including obstacles, time limit, number of lemmings required to be saved, and rate of lemming release. Each of these difficulty sliders compound, making the final set of levels a true test of skill. Lemmings also features a 2-player mode, where the screen is split down the middle, and each player controls their own sets of lemmings, in a battle to rescue more lemmings than your opponent. There are a few sequels, including a Lemmings 3D World version of the game. However, it is the original Lemmings that I remember fondly. I think this is one of the games that influenced me and my love for strategy games. The satisfaction of correctly formulating a plan and watching it come to fruition can be seen in many other games, such as the real-time strategy genre, simulation games, or turn-based RPGs. I think it's also interesting to consider the relationship of tower defense games and Lemmings. In tower defense games, the roles are reversed and you are trying to stop the enemies from reaching the goal as they march towards it endlessly. Like Lemmings, selecting the proper class of your defenders and the strategy of their placements is key for completing the maps or waves. Lemmings was well received critically and was mentioned as an influence by both Terry Pratchett and the creator of the Warcraft game series. It is still playable to this day with its charming animation and music, and the puzzles are still as challenging as they were when they were released. I think Lemmings is a good example of how constraints can breed creativity. Working within the limitations, they were able to create a very fluid and fleshed out game system. The important elements of game design, the primary gameplay loop, and polish are both in place, which is what helps Lemmings hold up so many years later. I think it would be interesting to see a version of Lemmings in the modern age. Now the game can be easily played on any browser. I would like to see what things like procedural level generation or a Mario Maker style level creator, how that would impact a game like Lemmings, where the amount of playable levels would be near endless. Overall, I would consider Lemmings to be one of my favorite games, and I recommend playing it if you want to kill a few hours. Thanks for listening.